you guys weren't here the next day, but by turning all the pumps on, that green that covered the whole pond,
sucked it all in.
80% of it was gone. And they know I feed them from here, and you could just see them coming in like pigs to the trough.
Yeah. I asked Ted earlier, how long have you lived here? And you said
6 generations.
So that's not bad. So we are in beautiful Big Rock, Illinois. I'm with Ed Ballou, my longest teammate. I'm Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy, and this is all about living the aquascape lifestyle. And this is a very, very special build that we created for a really cool place. What is this place?
This is called McCannon Farm. They have a program here called Farm Friends, and this is a non-for-profit where they have people with special needs that are coming out on a weekly basis, and they give them a farm experience. So they get their hands dirty, they'll do gardening, they have animals here on the property, they go fishing in this beautiful lake, and to fund that, they have a variety of different events here, including weddings, which helps to pay for the grounds and all the other stuff that are here.
4 years ago, we came in with 300 certified aquascape contractors, and we created this masterpiece. And this is the personal property of Ted McCannon, right?
Ted McCannon.
How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Dreamed about it for a long time. The pond was dug back in the 1950, and we thought that when we took over the property, we wanted to do something with it. And so we redug the pond, put all the spoil on the end where the waterfall is. I always wanted a water feature. Took 20 years.
So then Ed came in here with the idea because Ed's wife Ellen actually worked with Farm Friends, and Farm Friends is basically a non-for-profit that works with young adults typically that have special needs.
So when Ellen sat on our board, and the more she was here on the farm, she just fell in love, and the next thing you know, she ended up buying the farm next door.
I see the tent already set up. You just had a wedding here.
And we're having Oktoberfest on the 15th.
I think Ed'll be at that one.
Oh yeah,
I'm here.
Craft beer, you know, he'd never pass that up.
You were talking about how so many people come here. They drive sometimes, you know, because of the Facebook posts from pretty far away.
Oh yeah, like the wedding we just had.
Yeah.
They came across Farm Friends, come across the property itself, and saw what we did for people with special needs. They live clear in Indiana, 3 hours away or more, maybe 4, and they decided that they wanted to give back rather than go rent a hall and pay all that money out. They wanted that money to go somewhere where they knew it was going to be used.
Ted, what was this water feature like before, and what is it like now in terms of the maintenance, in terms of the aesthetics?
If you came out here before what Aquascape did to the feature itself, why, you could have walked across it.
With the thick duckweed.
Duckweed, it was just totally covered with green and everything else. So Ed and the rest of us all worked, and we cleaned out the edge of the pond, cleaned out all the debris from the last 40 years, 50 years and everything, and worked on that portion of it and then Aquascape came in and did their thing. And what's so amazing is that you guys weren't here the next day, but by turning all the pumps on, that green that covered the whole pond,
sucked it all in.
80% of it was gone. I mean, we were busy cleaning out the pump vault trying to haul it all away. You can see, we don't have duckweed.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Ted, how do you actually use the water feature for Farm Friends? You know, do you have activities in and around the water?
We bring them out here so they really have that experience, the interface with nature and the water itself. So they can get close to the wetlands and do things like that. They can get to the edge of the water, depending on the level of the people with disabilities. Sometimes, like in Oktoberfest, we'll have the kids out. Father Dan from the church is going to have a fishing tournament because it is stocked with largemouth bass and some other fish on that.
Father Dan probably enjoys that sermon. Let's go have a fishing tournament here.
He does.
I'll preside over that.
He does.
Good for him.
So You know, it's that real experience bringing them back to life itself. So the next part of our phase is to put a stream in so these kids can get in the water.
And it's never done, right? So here we have this incredible water feature here. How many tons of stone did you use?
Oh gosh.
80 ton of stone.
Yep.
But there was another 60 ton that we put in under the water, holding everything in, that was donated that you don't even see.
It's always a work in progress, so now you want a stream coming into
the pond up through those nice, we're going to put a patio on the opposite side of it and stuff.
It's never done. This is how people live the Aquascape lifestyle right here.
Yeah.
So Ed, I was here last year. Every time I come, this is its 4th season, it gets more and more filled in, and the ecosystem continues to be healthy. Giant fish in here.
Exactly.
So you said some of these fish came from your pond,
They did.
right?
They came from my pond because when we sold the place, we knew it was overstocked with fish. So what better home than right here?
I come out here in the morning, and this is kind of a ritual, so they know about 7:30, and they hear the cart coming across the yard. So as I come across, I park and I walk up here, and they know this is the area that they get fed.
This is the main wetland, so we have multiple pumps that are feeding this system. We have one pump that is just dedicated to the wetland filter. That one runs continuously. We have 3 separate pumps that are going to the waterfall.
Well, look at how full this is.
Because of the nutrient load inside of this thing.
These plants just take off. It's like injected of pure energy.
So they can come through, they could split this, they could sell the plants off.
He says twice a year he has to come and actually divide the plants.
Which is great. So the challenge that we have here with an existing pond that is 60, almost 70 years old, that was dug in 1950, is all that accumulated leaf debris in here. It takes years, but look at the water clarity right now.
Yes, the water clarity. Look at the fish.
It looks incredible. You can see fish swimming out here. When I first came out here, you couldn't see this bass right here in the foreground.
Yeah, they're ready to eat.
You couldn't see anything because of the heavy weed growth, because of the planktonic algae blooms that are inside. So now it's going to take years, just like an exercise program. This pond was way out of shape. It was overweight. It needed an exercise program. We started that in motion. We have aerobics. We have a good diet for the pond. Everything is happening. It's going to get better and better and better over time.
A good diet for the pond. I like that. You might be the only guy that would ever actually use that phrase. A diet for the pond.
That area just to the left of the waterfall, we designed that specifically for the bride and groom to stand in the bridal party to get a picture next to that waterfall.
Right. So Ed, one thing I remember about this was it was a complete mud bath because it had rained the morning of and the night before.
Oh, I remember staying awake at night listening to the thunder, the lightning, everything crashing, and my phone was getting lit up by everybody saying, "Is it on? Is it on? Is
You're
it
like,
on?"
I'm not the weatherman.
I'm like, it's going.
Yeah.
Like, we have no option. We have to get this thing done. There's no plan B, so we're gonna make it happen. And you know what? Everybody dug in that much harder and deeper, and it was because of the cause. Everybody wanted to help.
The harder the challenge, the more they rise to the occasion. And then, of course, the reward is so much greater.
Absolutely.
You know, to actually have accomplished that. I remember guys walking and their boots staying back and them coming out of their boots because of the mud out here. But we had literally hundreds of guys who were trained out here to build this thing. And this was kind of a unique design. I mean, talk about how this whole thing actually works.
So the way this is designed, we tried to set it up just like any other ecosystem. We have a pumping system on one side. The challenge that we have here is this water level fluctuates.
Yes.
So we had to be able to manipulate it. We put in these concrete piers, which we don't do all the time, but that allows us to put in a series of boards. You see those slots in there? We could actually raise and lower the water level, and that creates that skimming effect. I mean, just look at floating scum on the surface. We've actually, since you can see, we added in a net inside of there to make it a little bit easier to clean it all out. This is the part you have to clean on a regular basis, but this is the point. Everything gets drawn in. From here, we're splitting the water off into multiple areas, up to the waterfall, over to the wetland, and then that far side, look at those jets. Everything is getting pushed back this way. We're turning the entire volume of this pond over 2.5 times per day.
Wow.
So we're totally turning over the water, which is the key, and that's what's giving us the water clarity. We have 4 pump vaults. We have the ability to do 2 pumps in each vault. So we currently have 5 pumps, but when we're doing the construction like this, I usually put in extra vaults just in case. So if we ever want to add anything, and we've talked to Ted a little bit about doing some other streams and things like that, we have the capacity to do that. So each one of these, we could open this up. You can see we have pumps down inside. These are all the Surumi 9PLs. These are feeding the waterfall. We did multiple pumps instead of one big pump because Ted likes to be able to control the water flow. So he could have one pump running the waterfall, 2 or 3. The wetland runs continuously, and the jets run periodically just when you get that debris movement over there. Turns that on to push everything over here. So it gives them a lot more control.
And here's the net to pull things out. Actually right behind you, those are the boards that Ted can actually
These are the boards that we could put in there so we could adjust the water level according to the time of the year.
Could you imagine if a developer actually started off with a subdivision with a pond this way versus having to try to correct a pond that had 60 years of debris building up in it?
Exactly. I mean, it would make all the difference in the world. So right now, we're seeing a big difference, but it's still an uphill battle. So we have the filters, we have bacterial treatments, etc. But if you started out properly in the beginning, you're not fighting that. You're working with nature, you're creating that ecosystem, and the whole system's going to function that much more efficiently.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. There are so many failing, hundreds of thousands, just in the US alone, failing water features that were designed in as stormwater management in subdivisions that get filled with all of the runoff from people's lawns and the chemicals that go in there, and it's constantly feeding, it's constantly a battle. This is working with Mother Nature and not against her like a traditional dead system. This would be a dead system. We made life to this system.
You know it.
So Ed, explain how you designed these jets.
So we have a jet output every 20 feet. We have a 3-inch pipe that's running around the perimeter. Then we choked it down. We dropped it down to a 1-inch fitting. So that allows us to manipulate the water if we want. We could raise or lower it, again, according to the time of the year. But the goal of these is to create that push. So now whenever I'm designing something, I'm always looking at prevailing winds. The normal winds want to push debris into that corner, so that helps. So everything wants to go towards that skimmer, but this is just going to keep pushing all that stuff in that direction, helps to turn the water over. Because if we didn't have these, what would happen is we have the wetland there, the waterfall there, this would be a dead spot. So we wouldn't have good circulation, algae would be bad, etc.
They could even use a little bit more because it's such a big body of water. And we just created what we're actually calling a pond power head. We put in 3, 4, 5 of those. Ted would actually be able to pick it up and move it if there were different areas with wind zones.
It would blast.
And this is one of the things. Aquascape, Ed and I, they've been doing this together for 25 years. We're the only manufacturer of water feature equipment in literally the world that builds water features. So when we see a problem like this, we have to actually fix it. So we didn't have pond power heads when we built this thing, but now we do. So we're going to come back and we're going to put it in, make this ecosystem even healthier. And this is actually what Aquascape is all about. It's about innovating, it's about creating, it's about helping the ecosystem, and it's about actually our passion is to make things better. And so to actually be able to have where we're actually working with and checking these things out, this could be a product that goes universal because every water feature could use that kind of circulation.
We're finding innovative solutions to real world problems. So that's what we've done since the very first skimmer. Biofalls, wetland filters, rainwater capture systems, power heads, you name it, ion gens, all these different things. We had customers that had problems. We fixed it.
And it's fun. It's fun.
We have a huge sedimentation trap over in there, and that's what was great about this build is it was such a big site. We had hundreds of certified contractors coming in, but there are hundreds of thousands of these ponds like this all over the United States.
That slowly died.
Exactly. So we want to train the guys exactly how to take care of it. So we had teams of people here. We had teams of people over there. We had a team over there. We had a team over there. We had a team on that side. We had edge work. We had these rock outcroppings because we wanted to change the shape of stuff. We had planting zones. We had all that waterfall work. We had plumbing. We had piping.
And everybody working as teams to get this done. And then we had a great party at the end of the night. All the food we got catered in here. We got barbecue. We had, and everybody got to celebrate and see the fruits of their labor. I haven't seen this water feature since last year. It looks fantastic. Continue to enjoy it. And if you want to see cool people doing phenomenal things like Ted is doing out here for the benefit of the community, check out this channel, share this blog so that more people can see what living the aquascape lifestyle is all about. I love my job.